Well, I went ahead and exposed 3 sheets of film. I got here well before sunrise because when I woke up this morning I noticed that there was a little bit of clouds in the sky, which is a nice treat here in Death Valley. And so this area is really close to the road. It's where I normally come over here to have breakfast anyways. But set up my camera in the dark. I didn't record any video of the process because it's a lot to juggle setting one of these up in the dark. You can't really see anything for a while, and so focusing and composing is pretty tricky. But I was able to get it set up, expose those sheets of film, and this is a nice treat. I honestly didn't quite know what I was going to be doing today, but this is a great way to start the day. But now I'm going to get things packed up and finish my breakfast. Then I think it is going to be time to change into some spandex and go for a little bike ride. Good times. Well, that was certainly a pretty fun ride. Ended up being right around 23 miles. And what was great is that this is one of the few times I've ever been able to cycle in just a long, continuous line. No stop signs, no intersections, no stoplights. I could just keep going, which is pretty nice. So that was nice. And there's also the side benefit of this being below sea level, so there's some extra free oxygen, which was really good. But I've changed out of the spandex back into the hiking clothes, and I've returned to an area where I spent a little bit of time yesterday. And there's a scene I photographed last year that had these kind of rocks in the foreground, some sand, some bushes and stuff, and then in the background the mountains. And I took it as a morning photo, but it was on a cloudless morning. And I think this is definitely more of a morning location, but I think it would also do fine for an evening shot. And the clouds from this morning are still there. They faded a little bit, but yesterday afternoon things started fading, but then they built in again close to sunset. So I think what the plan will be is to sit on the spot for a while. I'm just enjoying the shade. I'm enjoying the endorphins. I'm enjoying the caffeine. I'm enjoying the view here, and set up a composition and see what happens at sunset. But it was pretty cool being able to photograph the scene this morning and then to go for a ride. So that was really nice. This will not be the last time I go for a bike ride here in Death Valley, because it's just so nice to have that open road. But now it's time to just relax a little bit and see what happens with these clouds. Several hours have passed, and got my camera set up here with my 150 millimeter wide angle, and I have a 2-stop hard edge grad on there right now, which will probably be fine. Could also use a 3-stop, but at least I positioned it where I'll know how to put a 3-stop in there so everything lines up just fine. But my composition here, got these rocks here in the foreground set against the really clean sand, and then off in the background got the mountains there. Now the clouds, they were pretty strong earlier, and they're starting to fade away. But what happened when I was here yesterday is that the clouds were pretty good, and then they were kind of like released from the mountains and started drifting toward the east. And then another band of clouds that was further west came over the mountains. And that could happen because I do see another band of clouds back over there, back behind the mountains, that seems to be emerging. And so I think the clouds are there because of all the uplift from the wind and everything, but once the wind shuts off, then they're just kind of free to drift. So I have no clue if there will be clouds by the time I'm ready to take a photo here. It would certainly be nice, but we'll see what happens. But it's so incredibly quiet here. You just got that ringing of your ears and big, huge mountains back behind me, up over there. So I certainly can't complain. So the sun has set back behind the mountains there, but I still need to wait a little bit longer for those clouds to hopefully light up a little bit. And the texture has actually gotten a lot more interesting in the past, 10-15 minutes or so. There are these really thin veil of high clouds, and then there's some a little bit lower ones kind of near the peaks there. So I have, at this point, a 2-stop hard edge grad on my lens, and it's not strong enough for the way that the light is right now, but I think that by the time that those light up, I'll probably be in the range of a 2-stop filter. But if I need a 3-stop, I can go ahead and put it on there. So I'm in good shape either way. Earlier today, when the sun was still up, I was able to place the grad filter so that it hits just the sky and not as much the mountains or the foreground. I got some crickets going here, keeping me company, and really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. So that was a safety shot with a 3-stop ND, just in case there's no glow. So I meter off a gray card in the foreground, and that gives me my foreground exposure. And then I average that, and I look at how bright the sky is. And I want to make sure I keep the important highlights in the sky so they're not any brighter than +2. And so I was getting +5 on there. So take away 3 stops, I'm at 2 stops. But pretty soon I'm going to be in the range of a 2-stop ND filter. So I'm going to go ahead and swap the filters right now. Well, actually, let's change the film holder first. There we go. In case you're curious what a 3-stop filter will do, let's do a little magic here. Yeah, somewhere in there. As I follow the brooks. And now we're going to do a 2-stop filter, which be something like that. So I did get one little glow there, but it's not the greatest looking. And by now the foreground's pretty dark, so they don't really interact with each other. It just looks a bit more of a distraction. So I'm going to take the camera with me tonight, but I'm going to leave my tripod here because this is a bit more of a morning location. And so by leaving the tripod here, just by putting the camera back in place, I'm already pre-focused, pre-composed, and there's a chance of having some clouds at sunrise. And if there are some clouds hanging along the peaks there, I'll be able to do a exposure well before it's bright enough for me to even see anything on the ground glass. I'm just enjoying the sound of the crickets here. And I'm going to go ahead and get things packed up, head back to camp, and then get some tasty dinner because I've been very active today. That's for sure. The photo I took that evening turned out fine from a technical standpoint, but it's not what I had in mind for this location. I am, however, quite satisfied with the 3 photos I took that morning, showing the progression of light as both the clouds and the Panamint Range were illuminated by the first glow of dawn. Among these 3 photos, my favorite is the first, with its pastel color palette set against a deep blue sky. Upon scanning the film, I reduced the magenta cast a bit for a more accurate representation of the moment. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you around next time. You may have noticed this video has no ads and no sponsors, and I think it's nicer that way. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution through PayPal or by joining my Patreon helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. You can find more information by visiting my website at benhorne.com/donate. I also have prints, ebooks, and my annual portfolio is available on my website. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.